Hey, what is up guys, Massive here, back to do another video, and we are on a map that's seldom seen playing. This is going to be Atacama Road. I'm going to be playing as the Kane in this game, and my opponent Senna will be playing also as a Nod faction. We all play random mirrors these days. This one turned out to be a Nod mirror in particular. So, yeah, recently I've been playing much Kane's Wrath online. I've been dabbing into new games that have been released, not necessarily RTS games, but first-person shooter games. Played and installed Borderlands 4, and I have to say that, at least on day one, was one of the most unoptimized games I've ever seen. I think it's crazy how you need a 5090 to play at 1080p with 80 frames per second. But yeah, that's just insane, and it should not be that way. PC gaming should not go in that direction, where you need a $2,000 graphics card to play at 1080p without frame generation or upscaling. Kane's Wrath, on the other hand, you can play this on literally a potato. You don't need anything. I'm sure if you could, mobile phones would even play this game. It will run on essentially everything, and it still holds up. Graphically, this game still holds up. Well, I did just go to the desktop there. This is not me casting this live. I'm dubbing this commentary in afterwards. That's just me turning down the game volume, because this is a recent install of Windows. My Windows became very slow after years of modding. My PC slowed down to a crawl. Had to reinstall Windows. Not really much is happening so far in this game. Typically in Nod mirrors you see a lot of bike buggy all-ins. Two-war factory can be very devastating if you go for a third refinery. On this map, there is blue tiberium in the middle to gather, but it grows slower. Use the EMP on the refinery. A lot of players will EMP the harvester in the ref. That's a mistake. If you EMP the ref only, the harvester will be forced to exit and then dock back in again. It just delays the opponent more than if you were to just EMP both of them. So I recommend EMPing just the ref, even if the harvester is seen docked inside. This is a very typical game thus far. I'm going for bike buggy on 6 harvesters, because I see he's doing the exact same thing. Senna doesn't like rushing. I'm just talking to Cyberstorm here. He was watching this game live on Twitch. It's nice to see him back. Green Zero, I still maintain communication with, but he hasn't been seen online in recent months. There is going to be an event hosted. 8 players were invited. Not sure if he was. He is banned now, unbanned on Revora, so he can play on the server whenever he wants. On his main account, which I thought was a miracle. I thought I'd never live to see the day. Green Zero unbanned. We've got a huge wave of bike buggy heading towards my base, and I've placed down these shredder turrets as bait. I've powered them down because obviously you're not going to hit a fast moving bike with a shredder. So just powering them down is good for drawing fire. And by the way, look at this EMP. I didn't capitalize as well as I could have there, but EMPing 4 bikes with 1 awakened squad, that's pretty amazing. I held off the aggression. I did not lose any harvesters, but whilst this has been happening, it's likely he has been taking the blue tiberium. I haven't really taken any good engagement. Despite that EMP, we traded more or less 1 for 1. You don't want to go into too many bike buggy, especially on a map like this where there's not much room to maneuver these bike buggy around. It's good to maintain a group of them just to respond quickly to your opponent's bike bug. You don't need to position Scorpion tanks and infantry all over the map. But you don't want to overcommit into bike buggy, because then you will just lose to tank transition or something like that. Senna complaining there about the pathing. This is the problem with maps such as this. The game will struggle to path sometimes, but it is up to you as a player to babysit it. The worst offender for bad pathing has to be this nod MCV. It will sometimes just not move you. You're trying to expand and yeah, you're busy microing an engagement. Look back at the MCV, it hasn't moved an inch. That's got to be one of the worst problems with pathing in the game, at least for me. It is subjective. I just feel like the MCV is not moving is a big deal. And oh my god, that was an extremely close MCV. Like, I would have just lost the MCV if I had not deployed, like, at that very moment. Oh, chemical plant. Those have bugger all health. Even buggies will do noticeable damage to it. And gathering all this blue Tiberium in the middle. He's dropped a second obelisk. I'm killing refinery. I'm not going to be establishing an expansion anytime soon on that base. He's got lots of obelisks. A third one comes down. Avatars. He's built 3 of them. I'm just here with 8 scorpions. I'm going to kill the chemical plant and an obelisk of light. I'm not going to be able to overwhelm those avatars, but I am in the back of his base here with another group of scorpion tanks, so I've assigned another group of tanks to a different control group. But Senna, with that multi-team CV, will be able to drop 2 of those obelisks at the same time, but he decided instead to respond to those units with avatars. He killed all of my units. I want to destroy this husk before leaving this location. And to be honest, the game looks over at this point. He held off my 2 war factory. I may have actually built a third one, or did I not? I think it's just the 2, but I've got a barracks. Would have been nice to have a secret shrine here for enlightened squads, but I'm going to have to make do with what I have. I'm going to transition into beam cannon. Seeing that he has avatars and a lot of base defenses here, I think these beam cannons might be pretty good. The awakened squad spam, something that is never ideal, is something I'm going to be forced to be building here. The reason why I'm able to fund this is because I was allowed that blue Tiberium field, because I went for those scorpion tanks and he chose to go into avatars. It gave me a huge injection of cash to do this strategy here. Redeemer engineering facility, pretty vulnerable. It's going to be targeted down by those beam cannons. He's not going to be able to save this, and the Redeemer is denied. Obelisk come down, but yeah, what's that going to do? I'm just going to EMP it with these awakened squads. He's got venoms overhead with those supercharged particle beams. That's bad news for me, since he can now place down supercharged particle beam shredder turrets. This is an interesting unit mix from me. Usually it is just scorpion spam to the end of time, but I decided instead, he's got these avatars, he's got those obelisks of light, he's pretty vulnerable to these single target high damage dealing units such as beam cannons in mass. Like beam cannons in this number here can kill avatars pretty quickly, but beam cannons themselves get killed pretty quickly by avatars, and he's now starting to spam those turrets. He's got so many of them. One thing he's lacking though is that quad turret upgrade. It does not desync the game. I'm going to say it every time. I'm going to try and advertise R23 as much as possible. More EMPs being used. He's actually marked the Kane himself, so he's going to have the option to go for enlightened squads, which would be pretty insane if he chose to do that at this point. He's drafting Hand of Nods to EMP these units. He could still hold this. He's gathering Tiberium. He's got a double ref there. And what you see here is what you get. There's nothing really else aside from this. I have no reason to look back at my base. One good thing is that he's Master Kane. He's not going to have flame tanks. He can't just sneak a flame tank in my base, promote it to heroic, and yeah, kill my whole base off. So I'm going to be able to destroy some of those turrets. I'm going to pull back there, since he's starting to get these turrets in an out of control number. Those Tip Troopers are an interesting unit at this point. They do move faster now by default. You don't need the cybernetic leg upgrade to get decent speed on those units. And these beam cannons will be forced to retreat. I've only got 10 of them now. He's still in a very good position. If he transitions now into Mass Venom, I'm in a huge amount of trouble. He'd be able to kill all my Awakened squads and beam cannons. That, if I were him, I would just sell off my tier 3, sell everything off, go for Mass Venom. It would be really effective at this point. That's what I'd do if I was in his shoes at this point. But he's going to go into infantry, which is also a decent choice. If he has a secret shrine, he can go for enlightened squads with the Tiberian Trooper. I was forced there to use the cloaking field. Does have a faster cooldown for the Mount to Kane faction compared to Nod. It's actually half the cooldown. And his MCV here is going to be locked on. He still has another one though. And I go back into those Scorpion tanks because he could himself go back into the tank, so I had to be extra cautious about that. And he's trying to EMP my units. Not going to have what it takes in this engagement. I'm going to push on forward. This has been a grind the past 4 or 5 minutes. And what am I spamming? I'm spamming Tip Troopers of all things. I'm building them from the barracks without the upgrade. They have decent range to them. They can kill infantry such as rocket squads. They can somewhat deal with enlightened as well. So this is a really good unit to complement my force. And now I'm looking at my army and thinking, yeah, what can I lose to at this position? It would be Mass Venom. So it wouldn't be surprised me here if I'm going for Bike Buggy. Yep, at this point, it just occurred to me this army has nothing in it to do with aircraft. So what I'm going to do is transition into Venoms and see how, into Bike Buggy and see how that goes. As you can see from his expansion, he's harvested pretty much most of that Tiberian field. He's selling off here. This doesn't mean the game is over. He's still got a lot of units. He's going to be transitioning into something soon. I'm sure of it. So I'm going to pull back. I'm going to play this safe. What I could do is build a Raider Buggy here and use it to scout his base. At this point, I'm going to go back into an MCV. I feel like that is what I should be doing at this point. Establish a base over on the left-hand side. I'm long leeching Tip. I've been taking blue Tiberium. You can see the smoke trail is blue on that harvester. It's been at that blue Tiberium field. He's allowed me to gather the blue Tiberium. It's such a huge deal on maps such as this. If you can't tech up, you can't win with avatars and mammoth tanks, and you're instead committing to a lot of tier 1. It doesn't really matter if you're trading cost ineffectively, since that blue Tiberium more than makes up for it. Another cloaking field would be pretty nice there, considering he saw a lot of Awakened squads. And there I saw the Venom. So he's got an air tower. That much I know at this point. I'm going to try and limit his eco by destroying these Tiberium spikes. I've got those beam cannons, but they're not going to be able to push in. If I push in with the beam cannons, they're going to be killed off and destroyed. I'm researching the quad turret upgrade. I'm not sure if I already have it, but it's an upgrade that would help immensely in this position. I'm not sure how many Venoms he has, but I'm sure to get the quad turret upgrade to help me in the defense against those Venoms. I'm going to plant down those shredder turrets. There you go. There's the quad turret upgrade researched. I kept a harvester stopped near that field. Didn't want it to go all the way back to my expansion in the bottom of the map. And I can't really push out now since he's base containing me here with those Venoms. There's nothing I can do against those ones. He could take out my entire power grid down there since I don't have any build radius, since power plants don't grant it. And those supercharged particle beams are so powerful. I myself, I don't have it. I have never built a tier 3 yet, but I'm going to build my own Venoms to combat his. I feel like that's the best way I can go forward in this game. I alternatively could do what he did earlier and build a secondary MCV. But Venom Spam is just an easier choice for me. He doesn't have an expansion over here on the right. I'm going to use the Beam Cannon Reflector Beam ability, something that you don't see too often, to take out his Conyard. Look at that damage. The gig is up. That's all I needed to do. It's an ability that will probably get you 1 or 2 structures. If you get an MCV or a tier 3, that's just great. Don't use it again, since your opponent will be looking out for it. For sure, if I try and set up a chain of Venoms again, it's going to be destroyed, since my opponent now knows of that tactic. It's something that players often forget about. It's an ability that is really effective because of just how underutilized it is. The way you set it up is by right-clicking off the Venoms in your selection, and then you can move them independently and position them in the way that I did. If you rewind it back, you'll see how I did that. That's the most effective way of setting up a Venom chain for beam cannons. And I'm still continuing to harvest that Tiberium. We're going for more Venoms here. And this is a bug. It looks like a bug. It looks like that's bugging, but I'm convinced that the bugs don't exist now. And look at this. I didn't touch it. The harvester fixes itself. So even when it seems like there's a bug happening, the game will auto-correct itself. Harvesters, for the most part, do not really dance around and never dock like they used to. I can afford this triple airfield Venom, so I'm going to be spamming a ton of them here. He's been leeching some of my Tiberium. I'm not sure if you saw the triple airfield. I do still control Tiberium Spike. He took out the other one. Venoms will be destroying the last one, and now I'm actually depleting in Tiberium, but I've got Venoms to combat here, so I can then push in with my beam cannons safely. And I'm going to destroy the other spike there with the reflector beam, so he's going to no longer have those tip spikes to provide him with passive income. I want to play it safe though. I'm playing it extra cautiously. I don't want to throw away this game. I've played Senna multiple times in the past where I've been in this position, and he's just concealed a huge army from me that I could not stop. So I need to get some intel. I know he hasn't got an expansion since I took out his MCV with the beam cannons. I'm going to individually target down his Venoms there. I'm going to have the overwhelming numbers. Speaking of overwhelming numbers, look at those Scorpion tanks. He's been able to spam out a ton of them. But 21 Venoms, man. I've got so many Venoms here, and there's no double A for him. There's no double A for him to destroy those Venoms. So I'm just going to have free reign on all of those Scorpion tanks. But those are still going to do a lot of damage to me. He's going to target down my beam cannons. My ground army is cooked. I've got nothing really to prevent it from falling here. The Venoms are doing what they can. That supercharged particle beam upgrade makes them deal more damage than even the Nod laser Venoms. It's one of the biggest reasons to play Kane, in fact, the Venoms with the upgrade. He's taking out my tech, but that is of little concern to me. He's also got Scorpions in my main, attacking buildings. He's going for my base. He's trying to destroy my structures. He knows he can't combat the Venoms. There's no anti-air here, and even if he had built some buggies, it just would not be enough. He has not got enough to defeat these Venoms here. I'm going to split off these Venoms just in case he does indeed somehow counter this. But yeah, the Venoms now are promoting up. I'm getting so many ranks on them, which will give them additional DPS. And I still control an MCV. He doesn't have his MCV, so he's not going to be able to place down Sam turrets. And as I said earlier, with the bugging, one bug does happen there. I confess. It does happen, but like once in every 100 odd games, you're going to see a harvester bug. It is nowhere near as prevalent as it used to be. And when it comes to game stability, R23 is king, with all of the bug fixes, improvements I've made over the years, especially this year being, I would say, the most significant of all for fixes in regards to improved performance and crashes the game used to have being addressed and no longer happening now. So in that sense, I'm pretty proud of what's been done, and there's going to be some sick developments as far as skirmish AI is concerned. I'm not going to be doing that, but Solar Messenger is working on it, and that will be incorporated into R23. So it's going to be a comprehensive skirmish AI improvement for PvE players and for players to get into Kane's Wrath and just dabble around with the game before pursuing PvP games. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that game there. That was a pretty interesting game on Atacama Road. Drive liked it, he said on Discord, and I thought, yeah, okay, if Drive likes it, it's probably a good game to showcase on this channel, and it did feature some really cool stuff, not only with the beam cannon push, but also we saw that beam venom and just all kinds of wacky things happen in that game there. So yeah, guys, hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is it from me, Master Leaf. Peace out.